Hello. Yes, I saw that was in response to the Kirin fact, which I can't even remember what that is. Something to do with bees, I imagine. Hi, Chip. And anybody else who may be here. Hi. Probably bees. Probably. Hi. CC's already having a bit of an issue with what I'm trying to say. It's fine. Yeah. How you doing? You doing well? Having a good Wednesday? Am I different? Down. Unless this is kind of thing again. Hang on. No, that's... Hang on. Better? No, yes, hello. Sounds a bit different. I was fiddling around with some stuff today because I was doing some recording things. Oh, CC? Oh, CC the madness. Yes, closed captions. We have automatic closed captions, which are incredibly accurate. Oh, look, missed. I need to update that picture. That was drawn a very long time ago. Is my mic normal? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it up? Is it down? Is it brown? Is it blue? Is it violet sky? Maybe your brain is tired. It just makes me sound different. I'd like to say I was messing around with volume levels on my microphone and stuff, so maybe it is. I don't know. Hopefully it isn't. Hopefully it's not. It won't detract. That's the. That would be nice. How you doing, miss? You alright? Are you having a good week? Having a good time? Good Wednesday? Wednesday? Ah, you're exhausted. Oh no! Well, hopefully I can help you relax with some nice, sensible storytelling. And no baby dinosaurs. Oh, well, CC recognises that, at least. Yay. So yeah, there's a little closed captions button you can press. If you want automatic closed captions, they're very accurate. Right, cool. Let's do a thing. That is what we're here for. Things. As I recall. Selling your pets. Oh no. The price is free. That's a good price. I'd ask you to come with fitness for them. Remember how you did that before the pandemic started? That was so long ago. I do not remember that. Because my, half a goldfish. So now everything hurts. Oh dear. It's always bad the first time. And then the second, and then the third. And it keeps carrying on. I've never got to the point where it stops being bad, to be honest. That's how you're doing. Well, we're having enough issues with animals at the moment because one of the hedgehogs in our garden was poorly. Suspected dehydration. They're now with a specialist hedgehog peoples to look after them. Yeah, it was a little giddy. And annoyingly, my mum took it to the hedgehog place. And in order to keep track of it, they asked my mum whether or not she could give it a name for administrative purposes. And so I fear my mum will now get attached now it has a name. So... What I said about the hedgehog you found yesterday was a little more dehydrated. Oh no, did it not observe road safety? Doesn't help that, as your brother puts it, when you go for it, you really go for it, which means you'll probably be feeling this for a week. No, when you go for it, you ramp up. That's the safe thing. It was in the woods. Did it not observe fox safety? Europe. Okay, cool. Good? Not good. Yeah. Not girl, yeah. Thanks, CC. Girl, yeah. Anyway, nonsense. Right. Where were we last time? What was the first thing we drew last time? Baby chicken, apparently. I'll get the baby chicken. Right, so, the story so far. We're in the third alternate universe, which is a great opening sentence. We're in Columbia number 3, where the Columbia is still a floating city, helmed by the prophet Lord Jefferson, and kept aloft by weird science created by Flora Locksman. And we are now wandering around trying to work out what happened to Lady Jefferson and the Locksmans, who are both, all three, who are troth, that's not a word, who are all dead. And we're finding things out, because apparently the Locksmans are dead, did die, but are also still alive, and just sort of teleporting around, having a good time. They're weird. And they told us to go and find some tears, which are portals to other worlds, or portals through time. There's various different things they can do. They're portals into weird places. And learn some stuff about the past, about what happened. So far we've learned that they died, and then came back to life and complained that their funeral photo was subpar. Also, I've just realised this isn't stream 11, this is stream 12. I'll change that. I've also forgotten to upload the VODs this week. Completely forgot about that, so I'll get on that tomorrow. They are, were, and will be, or whatever the impossible tense was all about. Yes. They died, dies, and will die. Lived, lives, and will live. It's all a matter of perspective. As is their catchphrase. Anyway, we then go to a bank, where we find out that Lord Jefferson is taking a 50% tithe on everything. But we also discover that Lord Jefferson ordered the killing of the Locksmans by Gregoris Termini, the pseudo-slave town owner. He was ordered to kill them because he could make it look like an accident, and he would get all the patents for the inventions that they made. Because the Locksmans are genius, brother and sister. There's Mal. Yeah. And that's the thing, that happened. So, we learned that. We then get to confront the ghost of Issa's mother. Haven't mentioned that yet. Probably should have. We went to go to get the body because we needed the hand of... We need Lady Jefferson's hand. I shouldn't call her Issa's mother because we also worked out that that's not true. Issa sort of came out of an experiment with the Locksmans, and as a consequence is not the daughter of Lady Jefferson, which is why there was the whole thing of putting her in a tower and such. I missed it, bugger. Yeah, and anyway, we went to go and get her body, and Lord Jefferson put a bunch of speakers in front of us. Issa went all electric, and the body turned into a ghost that's been flying around causing mischief ever since. We now confront her, and Issa's like, I finally understand, I know you were angry at me for not being your daughter, and I was angry at you for being a bad mother. Turns out you're not my mother, and all of this was caused by one guy. Why don't we team up and screw him over instead? And then we have a fight with a bunch of zombies. But more importantly, Lady Jefferson then just blows open the gate that was stopping us from going to Jefferson House, i.e. the big mansion where Lord Jefferson lives, presumably. So that's all done now. We don't need to worry about that anymore. This is Jefferson House. Isn't it nice? With 3 big heads of presidents that I can't draw. Oh, business snip. Going to do business. Oh, wet snip. I had that yesterday. Hi, Doc. How you doing? Yeah, so we go to Jefferson House. But before we can get to Jefferson House... who's that? Yeah, that's right. It's Chicken. And Chicken comes to say hello. And by saying hello, I mean it throws us into a building. Like, 100 feet away. Got a good throw. We're knocked unconscious, and we have... Hang on. No, not yet. We're knocked unconscious, but then we sort of regain semi-consciousness. We're on the floor going... Jack's on the floor, I should say. This is a first-person game, so you are playing as Jack, but at the same time, I'm drawing this third person, so trying to avoid referring to you as Jack. You're good. Nice. And Chicken comes in. Chicken, the buff guy form, yeah. The chicken, I am realizing from looking at the concept art, really is just like a big person with wings. Like, it's not really a bird. It is very much, and it's implied that the Gregoris Termini stole the idea for how to turn people into big old robots or something. Maybe from the original Bioshock, the Big Daddies. He took that technology and created chicken that way. But it's not made absolutely clear. Because Gregoris Termini is an interdimensional plagiarist, as we have determined. At least his brother only stole music, you know? It's the big boydy. Anyway, big boydy pops their head through the wall and goes to stab us with his massive claws, and Issa jumps in the way and says, No, stop, don't hurt him. I'm sorry, I'll go back home. Take me home. And the bird's like, oh yeah, we can go home now. That's all I wanted. And then it grabs Issa and then flies away. And Issa is not happy about the situation, having earlier told us that she would literally rather die than go back. So it's going well. Gregoris Termini, somehow the worst person you know will only get worse. We then fall unconscious again, and we have the dream. The dream where we're in an office with our name on the door, and there are people banging at the door telling us to repay our debts and bring us the girl, wipe away the debt, etc., etc. However, this time the door is open and the locksmans are in here, and they are the ones who are saying, "Bring us the girl, wipe away the debt." And Issa's there now with her new hair and fancy clothes. And we don't go out the main door this time, which is where we saw an image of New York being bombarded from above. We go through the door on the right, which was previously locked. Ooh, exciting. It's not, it's a door. We then wake up and run towards...
I can't open it.
Oh, yeah. Can't open it. It was locked, but you can't open it now, Jack. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I remember I did a thing where I covered it up. We then run towards Comstock House, Jefferson House. No, I'd slip up. Stone House, according to the CCs. We run towards Jefferson House, and as we do so, clouds envelop us, and Jack's shouting, "Bring her back, you bastard!" With a little more oomph than that. And then clouds envelop us, and then when the clouds clear, we discover that it's snowing. And everything's covered in snow, and Jack's like, well, this is weird, because it's July. To which I rebut, you're in the clouds. Weather's different up here. In fact, it's probably freezing. But whatever. So we run towards Jefferson House, and we find a couple of tears along the way. And in the tears, we're hearing Issa shouting and saying, "No, stop it! Take me back to the tower. I just want to go back to the tower now." And there's a scientist that's saying, "No, you ran away from the tower. It's been destroyed, etc. You've made your choice, and now we have to do something else." I can't remember the precise bits. Anyway, we walk into the house, the mansion, and the first thing we see is a giant statue of Issa. And the first thing we hear is Issa over the tannoy of this building, spouting all sorts of evangelical nonsense, akin to the way Father Jefferson has been for a lot of the game. Talking about sinners and the Sodom below, and wiping the slate clean, and the sin of man, etc., etc. Very good she is too at the old evangelical voice. Very unlike her thus far. Yeah. And we also find the locksmans. They pop up. And they start talking about coins again. Dies, died, will die. Lives, lived, will live. What was it? Yeah. Why ask what when the delicious question is when? And they have a lot of quotes. And they start talking about two sides of the same coin, and then they disappear. As is their wont. We then continue through, and we meet some new friends. We meet some glitchy people in long johns and ceramic president heads. And also the Noise Boys. The Noise Boys. They are essentially glorified lights, searchlights, essentially, mechanically. But they're creepy and weird, and I like them. They deserved better than this. Nice boys! You're children. Yeah, they're cool. And we start hearing things about like what Issa's done and how Issa is gonna cleanse the Sodom below, as was, you know, the seed of the prophet shall sit the throne and drown in flame the mountains of man. That's another one of those sentences that gets nailed into your head when you play this game. So she starts talking about that. She also starts talking about how like her citizens, her children in this place are, I can't remember the phrase, it's like they are free of sin, they are free of, it's something like they're free of sin, free of evil, and free of choice. Basically the implication is these people were sort of brainwashed with weird dimension powers. They're doing the glitchy thing like people are when they've been killed in one universe but not another. And she talks about like exposing people's minds to every version of themselves, and that messes. Oh, why am I explaining this? It's in the previous stream. We need to carry on. Noise boys happen. More noise boys. We open a door. There's a noise boy. Does a jump scare. There. Hey Kiro, how you doing? And finally we get to the end of the thing, and we find a silhouette standing at the top of a crumbled set of stairs. And that's where we are. Right. And autosave because I've done so much. Sorry, I'm getting carried away explaining things I've already explained last time. Did I change this to part 12? I did, cool. How you doing, Kira? You doing well? Welcome to Stram. Right, what am I doing? It's an extraordinarily apt question. Ooh. Excuse me, miss. Excuse me. Right. We go towards the silhouette. They reach out a hand and pull us up to where they're standing. And it is indeed Issa. Hooray! Issa's here. She's here. But I've got a draw now, so that's not the colour I want, is it? Give me colours, please. Perfect. I filled you in. You weren't expecting that one. So yeah, Issa's here's Issa. Issa is Issa. Issa is Issa. Cabot. It's something. Again, it's one of those IKEA jokes. Self-assembly. Here are all the parts, there's a joke here. Feel free to do something with it, if you want. There's a thing, and then there's a skirt, and so on and so forth. Just doing stuff with hands. This is just going to go back there for the sake of dignity. Dignity? Not dignity, what's the word? I think I conflated two, like, for the sake of simplicity, for me drawing, but also as a dignified pose. My brain was just crossing things over. Yeah, we're here. We found Issa, everybody. Everything's going to be fine. Another thing I forgot to mention in my recap is there are mentions as we're listening through tears with doctors talking to Issa that a lot of time is passing, and Jack is not coming to rescue her, and they're sort of trying to break her will, her spirit. There is one from Father Jefferson that says something along the lines of, your modern, talking to a doctor, he's like, oh yes, your modern science will cure her of her physical ailments, but she has a spiritual ailments that only I can cure her of. And the doctors say, what's that? And he says, hope. I remember that one. Anyway, Issa's here. And she is very old. She is very old indeed. Her hair's all grey. I think she's got longer hair now. It's been a long time, as I believe she says. This has been a long time, Jack. So that's probably the first thing you notice. Second thing you notice, and I can save myself some time here by hopping back a bit to stream number 2. Well, this is stream number 2. Might even have been stream number 1, actually. Let's hop back to stream number 1. Let's see if we remember stuff. Remember the dream? Do you remember the dream that was had, go away happy thing, of Manhattan being bombarded from above? Yeah, that's happening. We're here now. It's happening now. I believe it's 1984, I think. I seem to remember there being like a billboard very suspiciously located on the side of a building that's like, here's a car for the car of the future. It's the car of 1984 or something like that. Very obvious, like, this is the time. But we went inside the building. How are we seeing it? We are now on a balcony overlooking a bombarded city. I do like how that's your question, though. Of all the questions you could have. It's like, weren't we inside? I also like the implication that we didn't hear the bombardment when we were outside before in the snow. I guess it just started. So yeah, and she says, like, you know, say what you want about the Lord Jefferson. He was a hell of a fortune teller. Seed of the prophet shall sit throne and drown in flame the mountains of man. That's what this is referring to. The mountains of man being skyscrapers in this instant. Snow stops bomb noises. Everyone knows this. It's padding, soundproofing. It's lovely. Yes, Columbia is a floating city. We are above it. We are bombarding this from above. Columbia is bombarding this from above. Yeah, we stepped out onto a balcony when we went up those crumbled stairs. There's a door out to a balcony. The mountains of man are skyscrapers? Lay. I would have thought there'd be pyramids. Whatever you're gonna... Columbia, Toronto balcony pyramids. Good, thank you, Cece. So, yeah. It's happening. Our dream is true. Turns out Lord Jefferson's not the only one who can prophetize. Anyway. So Issa, I forgot to remind that it happened last stream. We are sort of alternating as we're going through this building, hearing we're hearing 3 versions of Issa. Issa from the past through the tears, who's like, stop doing this to me. Issa, the evangelist over the tannoy, spouting evangelical nonsense. And Issa from slightly after that, when she's starting to regret the things that she's done, and is talking about trying to make things better. We have now met regretful Issa. She is here. And she says, you know, she talks about the brainwashing and how she was sort of was, is, will be, has been, blah blah blah. Yeah, she talks about how she was sort of brainwashed and broken through various things, and she says it wasn't the indoctrination that broke me, it wasn't the brainwashing or the medical procedures, it was time. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. And so we say, well, we came to save you. We were coming to save you. And she says, well, it's too late for me. I'm already here. But you can still save her. And she hands you a piece of paper. The second cryptic piece of paper that we've been handed over the course of this Drawthrough. Well, I guess there's been 3 cryptic pieces of paper, but like one of them was a straightforward instruction that we just didn't pay attention to, so there's less to do with being cryptic and more to do with Jack being an idiot. But yes, she hands us a piece of paper. It's got some writing on it, some bits and bobs, and a couple of illustrations, and a picture of a cage, which will come back later. Motifs, everybody. Hello. He's a useless whore. There we go. Add permitted term. He's a useless whore, comma. It's automod. Automod's back. Jack came to save you. 70 years later, this is useless whore, but he came to save you. He's here. But the implication is, I mean, Issa has some weird wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey powers, right? The implication is that this Issa brought you forward into the future so that she could give you a message to help things. So arguably, she's the reason that you didn't save her. Time. If you're going to write a story with time, you got to be careful. Stephen Moffat, he wrote this. He didn't, it's Ken Levine. Yeah, so the reason it suddenly became snowy is because she teleported us. She pushed us through a tear into the future. But if she hadn't have done that, maybe we could have saved it. I don't. Why? Because we needed to have a message. Why did we need a message? Simple. Because now she's going to send us back in time and stop this from happening. She couldn't have just told us through a tear. Look, we needed the Noise Boys to be in the game somehow. She was really excited for you to see the Noise Boys. That's what's going on. I love doing draw-throughs of these things, because you make you think about the plot holes I'd never even thought about before. She could have, yeah. It's not a message for Jack. Yeah, he looks at it and goes, I don't understand any of this. And she says, it's not for you. She'll understand. And then, whoosh, she sends us back in time. Ooh. And back in time we go. Clip Studio, what do you know? And we whoop back, yes, into Jefferson House, but in the past. So it's all sunny now. Nice. She will, who is she? Yourself from the past? Perhaps. By which I mean yes. But we're now inside Jefferson House, relatively speaking in the present. Well, not the present. The present of the game. Some time has passed, but we'll work that out. Is this the past you were in or a different past? I guess technically a different one, because the past you were in ended up with Issa becoming indoctrinated and destroying Manhattan. So I guess technically we have been taken back to a different past, but that's a question of how time travel works, as opposed to a question of multiple universes. Because some people will say if you travel back in time and change things, then that universe never would have happened, that timeline never would have happened, but the solution to that then is that it splits off into multiple universes, so technically by being sent into the past we're starting a new universe? You think the game goes into this? You're wrong. There are many questions. None of them have answers. Well, some of them do, and the answer is he doesn't row. Quite right. So glad Hazel's back. Hazel's here. Twitch reinstated her landline, and it's good. Anyway, we arrive back, and if you recall, which I don't know why you would, but if you recall, just prior to the crumbled staircase, there was a crossroads. To the right was a locked door, or a barred door, which had operating theatre written on it. And we couldn't go through there, so instead we went left to the staircase, and we met old Issa. The detail from early on that hints at something big, and you're itching to bring it up, but you'll wait. He doesn't work. I can't wait to explain that and have Chibi be
The
extraordinarily
window's locked. I won't be able to open it.
won't be able to open it. But now you will, because it's the past and it's not locked anymore. I just assumed that was Chibi. Sorry, Kira. I now automatically associate the locked command with Chibi. It's always you, even when it's Kira, it's you. Everyone needs to have their own command. I'm gonna make everybody their own command. I guess arguably the plant and harvest is Mrs, but that could also be communal. I'll make the catapult one. I'll make that for Miss. I don't know what Kira can do. What does everyone want? As commands. Let me know. Sigh. You want to do it too, but the timing's always off because you're on a delay. That's fine. You can interrupt me and confuse me all you want. It's part of streaming, you know? Not knowing what's going on, it's part of streaming. At least it's part of me streaming. I'm not sure how, like, restraints work when wearing, like, a skirt. I guess there's just under the skirt. Just difficult to draw. You will do the command locked whenever you feel like, regardless of whether something is locked. Particularly at the start of the stream, or just when I'm at my most focused to make me jump. Sometimes you just want to hear Jack's voice. It's going to be weird when we do the Bioshock Infinite DLC, because I feel like constantly calling this character Jack, you expect him to sound like Jack. And it's like, the reason we called him Jack is because it's a generic male protagonist, and their voices are not extraordinarily dissimilar, but they're not the same. It's Troy Baker, so it's like every other male protagonist. But what do you think? Is something about things being fine and something like, is it though? And lots of fire. Oh, I was also going to do a Badum Tish command, wasn't it? With Cthulhu on drums. Yeah. So Issa's here, having a good time. Sort of strapped down into a thing. It's probably like a head strap or something. And there's a big old operating theatre in which she is. And something's happening. I don't exactly know what. There's a lot of machinery around. It's a bit weird. How am I going to do this next sequence with any semblance of justice? I don't know. There's a kind of cool visual, which is interesting, and I don't know if I could replicate it. But we'll give it a go. Yeah, so we're in this operating theatre. Let's make it a bit smaller. Then there's the Jack of Bioshock 1. Yeah, there is actually a Jack of Bioshock 1, although he doesn't speak. So, voiceless protagonist. Hooray. This bit, yeah. I like this bit. No, hang on. You're talking about a different bit. No, I don't like this bit. But slightly after that is another bit. Actually, no, slightly before that and after that is another bit. There's a bit that sandwiches the bit you're talking about. We'll get there. Yeah, so there's like that whole big, weird sort of operating theatre thing, and there's a bunch of scientists standing around. And there's a bunch of cables sort of coming out of here. Yeah, that bit is cool. The other bit, shudders. Will I draw that? I don't know. It's not really. I mean, it's effective in the game, but is it worth drawing? I guess so, to illustrate the extent of what's been happening. Had the same effect for me as the beginning of the Matrix. Probably inspired by that. Anyway, there's a bunch of scientists standing around doing things, being scientists. Scientists have glasses, that's what they do. That's their job, having glasses. This is Wally from famous illustration children's Find It book. Where's Wally? Oh, I missed it again. Okay. Where's Wooloo? It's still by far my most popular tweet. I like a little thingy. What's this called? I want to go ahead. Checkbook. It's not a checkbook. What is it? Clipboard. That's the word. Checkbook. Ah! I saw that one. So here's a scientist. And I think as you walk in here, like there's a over the tannoy, you hear Lord Jefferson saying, you know, look what you've made me do. You led my lamb astray, and now I shall fix her. Etc. etc. And also other scientists. Who is also here and taller. He's standing on a box. Yeah, there's a bunch of scientists around, so on and so forth. And you run around, and there's also soldiers, and you fight soldiers, or you do what I do, which is understand how the speedrun works, which is that you have to flip 2 switches that turn off the machine that's going on. There's a big machine going. I should probably draw the machine. I don't know what the machine looks like, so I'm just going to do a general sort of Tesla coil. Actually, I imagine for purposes of some foreshadowing, there should probably be some speakers here, right? We already know the speakers do some shenanigans, so let's do that. Let's put in some speakers. If you recall, these speakers we first saw back in the tower where we found Issa. When we were walking through, and it was like, you know, experiment up ahead, there's a quarantine if you go this far, so on and so forth. So there's just big old speakers going around here. Why is he standing on a box? He likes to feel tall. Why wouldn't you? Ah! Buff carrot. Yeah, and there's loads of wires and so on and so forth. Right, there's a machine, and you run around and you flip 2 switches, and it turns out you don't have to kill anything. You just run past everything, flip the 2 switches, and you're done. Now, what happens when you flip the 2 switches? Well, you know how Issa can open tears. Well, what she does, right? What she does is she opens a tear. And she opens it to be quite big. She doesn't pass through it like we have done before. It's still relatively small, but you pass through it when that happens. This is just like, I'm going to open this tear, and it's going to be bloody huge. It's going to encompass the room. And what essentially happens is the tear leads to some fields. Ah, isn't that... So in this operating theatre, you're in like a glass room just watching this happen because you've had to flip some switches. And so you're just sort of in a nice little field with this dramatic music playing in the background. Is that a bit loud? Might be a bit loud. That's fine. Yeah, so she opens up a tear, and now this operating theatre is just in a field, and it's lovely. And there's a nice little farmhouse over here, like that. Little farmhouse, a little grain silo, and stuff, and some little picket fences, and like something like that, like just a massive tornado. Something along those lines. I don't think I've ever drawn a tornado. The first. Yeah, and basically, all of the scientists get sucked up into a tornado because Issa is not happy with these people, so she summoned a tornado into this room. You're in a glass elevator. Really, it reminded you of one of Hojo's chambers. It is like a cylindrical glass thing that you couldn't get into before. She could just do that now. Now that the machine's switched off, whatever that means, she could do it in extreme. If you remember that she mentioned that her tears are a kind of wish fulfillment. Whenever she feels like she's in trouble or she needs something, she can open tears. And evidently, she felt like she needed a tornado. So that's what happens. And Waldo D and Waldo Dumb here go flying off into the tornado. Never to be seen again. Never to be seen again. You give Issa back her hand. There we go. Goodbye, Waldo, and taller Waldo. Whee! And then she closes the tear back up, so they're just there now, I guess. Some random scientists are going to appear in a field, and these people are going to have no idea what happened. Yeah. So you can I make use of this? Maybe. Hang on. Let me just copy this. For background purposes, I shall label it Twister. And I'll copy this. And I will label it Not Twister. Right, so I'm trying to do this, but I'm also trying to work out how to approach the rest of it. Why did I not? Whatever, it's fine. I cut out some of the speakers, but not all of them. It's fine. Anyway, you come along. Everything's broken now. All the scientists are gone. All the enemies that were there mysteriously disappeared when you ignored them, pulled some levers. And you come along and you help Issa out of this. There's a couple of issues with that, though. Issue number one: her corset is untied. What a bother! So all the cords are just tangled around, and it's just nightmare. Issue number two. Slight issue. She just has like this massive cable sticking out her back, which presumably needs to come out. She can finally breathe again. For now. That might be a problem. Yeah, it might be. She was also lost her arms, apparently. So she's like, yeah, this needs to come out, please. So we're like, okay, I guess. Hey Jack, I haven't drawn you for a bit. Did I draw Jack last stream? I'm not sure I did. Have you tried turning her off and on again? No. Issa is invulnerable to being knocked out, so... She could probably do with having some sleep, though. Okay, so what you do is you grab hold of it. Jack's not sure about this. He's like, are you sure about this? And she's like, just get it over with. Get it over with. Just do it, quickly. And he gives it a yank. Thump, like that. And it looks like that. And there's now just a big old hole in Issa's back. An improbably long piece of metal comes out of her back. Lovely. I don't know why that's in the game, but it is. I mean, I know it's in the game to demonstrate the sort of things that has happened to Issa that are not good. Jesus, she's not happy about this situation. Auto saving. Do. Oh. Did not like that at all. It's visceral. And then you help Issa lace up her corset, which is also painful. Quite why you're doing that to somebody who's just had a massive plug pulled out of their back, I don't know. But while you're doing that, you hand her the note that was given to you by old Issa. I don't know if you explained that it was future her who gave it to you? Aldi's future? Cece, what are you talking about? Emphasize just how big that spike is. Also, like, you could just tie it less tightly. It gives it a pull. There is a pull. Alright. And she goes like that. So yeah, that's the bit that Miss was talking about. I was talking about the twister. Jack, I know. In some alternate universe, somebody is pulling a corset on Jack really tightly. We can be happy with that. Allow. Remember, this is Bioshock Infinite. Infinite. There are infinite possibilities. And in one of those possibilities is payback. You can just let it go so you don't have to pull it. It pulls it tight. Anyway, you hand her the note, and she's like, I didn't even show it for you. Oh yeah, I was on it. I was on that one. Jack, have you ever been with a woman? Well, we know he did mention earlier that he used to have a wife or a partner. I'm guessing wife. And she died in childbirth. And there's a conversation. There's a conversation that Issa had with Jack ages and ages ago, where she's like, "Do you have anyone in your life?" He said, "I used to be married, but she died in childbirth." And she says, "Oh, so you got a kid then?" And he's like, "No." So that's as much as we know about his time with women. Basically, not a lot of corsets going on, as far as I know. She died in childbirth because Jack laced up her corset. Maybe don't have really tight corsets with people who are pregnant. That's not a good idea. Just a thought. Just a thought. Or maybe just don't have really tight corsets at all. Seems just unpleasant in general. Right. Yes. God, this is a turn made an unpleasant turn. Yeah. So we have this conversation. We hand her the note. And she reads the note. And goes, okay. Well, okay, so this is about chicken. And I understand most of it. We've got, like, you know, we need to use that panpipe. Do you remember ages ago? Well, not ages ago. A few streams ago. When Flora and Fauna were at the piano. And they were playing a tune. And Issa was going, stop playing the tune! And they played it. And they were like, Issa's like, oh my god, he's coming. And the locksmith says, it was the correct tune, but it was the wrong instrument. And then they handed us a note. These two notes go together, saying, hey, you've got to use this instrument. And that instrument is like the panpipe thing that we keep seeing on the statues. It's like, that's the thing that summons chicken. Which is why when it keeps going off, chicken arrives. Which I don't think is a mystery. I thought that would be quite obvious, but whatever. But the note doesn't entirely make sense. This note, the instructions are unclear. They end before they should. And all there is at the end of it is a picture of a cage. And it's like, I don't know how this is supposed to tell me how this works, and there's nothing. There's like a picture of a cage, and that's about it. Use a flute. So Issa's like, well, this doesn't really make sense, and Jack says it should do. You wrote it, or you will write it. Wrote, writes, will write. Doot. So yeah, she's like, I don't really understand this very much, but whatever. And then you untie her, and the corset's all done and stuff. You give her a jacket, and you're like, right, okay, what now? And Issa's like, what do you mean, what now? You seen what they've done to me. I'm not leaving here without getting revenge. I'm gonna find Father Jefferson, and I'm gonna kill him. And Jack says, no, you're not. And Issa's not happy about that. So what Issa does is she makes the Twister come back. She's like, what do you think you're gonna do to stop me? And Jack says, you're not going to kill Father Jefferson, because I'm going to do it for you. And then he goes away again. Because this male protagonist has got to do everything. It's supposed to be a powerful moment, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you don't have it. I will do the thing. I am protagonist. Either way, I just love the fact that Issa can now threaten people with a giant tornado. Issa's cool. This is not your story anymore. He doesn't row. Issa do a murder. So basically they have a little back and forth of like, I'm gonna kill him. No, I'm gonna kill him. Let's kill him together. Anyway, you leave the operating theatre because no one wants to be there. Seems like a bad time. And you go out and, you know, full-scale war is still happening outside. The Vox Revolution is fighting the Columbia Guard. It's all go. Lots of things are happening. And you get on I'm not going to draw this. You get on a little sort of like police flying boat thing. Nothing major, but it's a flying thing. And Jack's like, you know, we could fly this to Paris. It'll be cold, but we could get there. And Issa's like, no. We're doing this. If you want to take me to him so I can kill him, then leave yourself. That's fine, but I'm going. Go live with the chicken in Paris. Oh, missed. Oh, blimey, is the music end? Is that halfway through the stream already? Blimey. The Grim Fandango soundtrack's about an hour long, so I know when the halfway point is when the music stops. He's just gonna do a moida. Lots of gameplay combat during this part. It's a long gameplay thing. Not an awful lot to talk about in terms of that. But we do hear something as they're having this conversation. And I can't remember how this is brought up. I remember thinking that I know this is coming, and I can't remember how it was brought up. Hearing it be brought up in a kind of sensible fashion, but then I've immediately forgot what that was. So basically, they have this conversation about maybe we could fly this to Paris. No, we're gonna kill him. And then they talk about like, can't remember. Oh no, that's it. Issa starts talking about like, we've killed a lot of people on the way here. Do you think like, do you think there's any kind of forgiveness for this, or are we just too far gone? They start talking about that back and forth while they're off to do a murder, by the way. And then Issa says, "Jack, are you afraid of God?" And Jack says, "No, but I am afraid of you." And that, if you have a very good memory, was the very first thing we heard in the game. Because that line of dialogue was right at the start of the game. Just completely cut and isolated out. And now it makes sense. Because of course, why would you be afraid of God when somebody's standing in front of you who can summon a twister? You don't remember that. Why would you? But it's there. That's one of those ones which doesn't really click. Unless you have a very good memory, as I say. It doesn't really click until you play it again, and then you're like, I know where that line's from. I remember that. Maybe someone else has a better memory than me. I don't know. Anyway, you're on this boat, and you go and fly, and you've got your tiny little sky boat. Doot on a sky boat. Doot. There's weird wibbly things. Sky boat. Fly the sky boat. You don't actually do anything. You don't actually fly. It just sort of flies itself. I don't really know what you do, to be honest. Yes, I was here too. With short hair and extremely tight corset. And yeah, why are we suddenly talking about God? I don't know. It just sort of happens in this game. You got to cram dialogue in somehow, right? There's a lot of stuff at the beginning that comes up later on. Yeah, this is a game that seeds a lot of bits and pieces throughout the game, and I've probably explained them very badly to the point that you've forgotten what they were. This was very much written. This was not written straight ahead, as it were. This was the final script was definitely written knowing what the ending. Slight segue. There's a TV show. I'll draw this while I'm chatting. There's a TV show in Britain. I don't know if there's versions around the world called Hustle, and it's about a group of con artists who steal from rich people. And every episode has the same sort of format, which is they come up with this extraordinarily elaborate con. And all of the trials and tribulations are pretending to be people and just doing, ingratiating themselves in certain areas of society, so on and so forth. It was written in a time loop, yeah. That line was also on a trailer or something? Ooh. There's a lot of lines. Like, Bioshock 1 had a lot of lines. The hands on the great chain and the entitled to the sweat of your brow, etc., etc. They just really tried to hammer the same thing home with this. There's a TV show called Hustle, and it's like really elaborate setup to a con. and like lots of interconnected character things. There's like a group of 5 characters who do all these things, with a bunch of subsidiary cast doing lots of stuff. It's a fun little like kind of mystery sort of thing, but it's a mystery in the sense of like it always goes wrong. Like 5 minutes before the end, everything goes wrong. And something happens where like the con's about to be found out, or it has been found out. They're not going to get the thing. They're going to get arrested. It's all falling apart, and then miraculously, something that had happened previously is revealed to have actually been more than it was, and then over the chain of events, there were circumstances that you may very well remember seeing earlier that all come together, and it actually turns out they had it under control the whole time, and the everything going wrong was just part of the plan. Every single episode is exactly the same, and it's very like lots and lots of bits and pieces and cogs adding up. And you might ask, why am I talking about this? Which is a very good question, because most of the time I don't know. But in this instance, I find it interesting because I watched a interview with the writer of that show, and apparently he writes straight ahead, by which I mean he doesn't know the ending as he's writing. He just writes them into a corner and then writes them out again. And I am amazed at anybody who could do that. It's like this incredibly elaborate setup with this very satisfying sort of, now we look back to this sort of payoff. Remember this? It turns out, so on and so forth. You've no idea what's going to happen as you're writing it. I'm sure he goes back and adds stuff later, but it's like, how does your brain work like that? I mean, we kind of did that with 16 Symbols, but it wasn't like clever. It was just flailing. Yeah. This game isn't that. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, Blimp. We come across a dirigible. We come across a big old dirigible. I recommend Hustle. It's a fun, sort of camp goofy time. It's not an old show. I mean, well, I guess it's 2000s. I guess that is old now. But yeah, it's still clever too. Yeah, the Kojiro arc really paid off, didn't it? Anywho, actually, there must be a really long thing up front for a reason. Maybe a big one at the back. I don't know. Just add bits. It's a very elaborate thing that doesn't really feel like it was constructed by anybody other than a level designer. But anyway. 20 years of age. When was Hustle? Am I going to look this up in the Bioshock stream? Premiere 2004. Yeah. And it carried on going till 2012. At 8 years. So yeah, that's relatively old by today's standards, but it's 20 years old. Well, 18. It's 18 years old, hooray! It can drink or vote or whatever 18-year-olds do. Dirigible. So, Lord Jefferson is in his dirigible. Turns out he's got a massive blimp, or an airship as they like to call it. I prefer the word blimp, it's funny. It can vote while drinking. I imagine it's, given the cast, it probably has already been drinking for quite a while. Not the cast, sorry, the characters. I don't know anything about the personal lives of the cast. The young, plucky male con artist, the actor who plays him was in one of the worst episodes of Doctor Who. You just remember that we get to the top of Jefferson House to find out that he's not there. He's in his personal ship. So that's why we head out to the house to find our way out to the ship or something like that. Yeah. I think he comes up in the dirigible like really far away and starts talking to us through a loud hailer, saying something or other, like saying that we are not a good man because of all the things we've done, because of he mentioned this before, but he knows about Wounded Knee, he knows about Peking, and he knows about Berry. He mentioned these things before. And I think he mentions them again to say that, hey, we're not the good guy. We are the false shepherd. We are leading people astray, and everything that Lord Jefferson has done, he has done to keep Issa safe. Allow. I'm on it. Anyway, he does all that spiel. And yeah, we go up to his dirigible, which is huge. There's like multi-levels of underneath, and you go on skylines around it. It's a big ol' thing. But eventually you work your way to the top. Term useless whore allowed. Unpermitted term, Jack is a useless whore, comma. Allow. That's just Jack is a useless whore without a comma. Right. Yeah, we work our way to the top. It feels weird skipping this because this takes a while. But there is nothing story-wise in there. It's just you work your way to the top. And you get into the antechamber. Sorry, you're working on commission. Cannot permit the line. Cannot permit and line at the same time. You are not beholden to do anything. You have a sword. You can do with what it as you will. That's a sentence. Almost different because it had a comma. Yes. Punctuation changes the meaning of a sentence, particularly if it's right at the end. Pay you to be a mod. Shh, don't talk about that. That's for tax purposes. So yes, you get into the antechamber. Of the thing. There's also, I came across on my playthrough a diary message from Lord Jefferson, like in his little sort of cabin, that I'd completely missed on all of my previous playthroughs, and I can't for the life of me remember what was on it. It is actually, I remember thinking, ooh, that's interesting, and I forgot completely. So. Mods of fighting, don't worry about it. That's why they have swords. Keeps them entertained. Anyway, we enter the antechamber. And there's something interesting that we see in there. There's a little model just before we get into the main chamber. There's a little model on a stand somewhere. Just in the middle of the room. And Issa finds this model kind of interesting. Because it is a model of the tower that she was in. But it's not called the tower or anything like that. Because there's like thing. I can't remember what I've made. It's got wings, right? There's and it's just doing a thing and is holding out a hand or something, as if to say like, "Here, have some almonds." Swoosh, swooshy, swoosh. But it turns out that's definitely to scale. Swords are there for enrichment. Got those messages. I don't remember what they said. Yeah, I remember hearing it for the first time on this playthrough and going, "Oh." It wasn't anything new, but it was like foreshadowing some things. Yeah, I don't know. Is that Mal? No, it's not Mal. Mal, as far as I'm aware, is not a big gold statue. I think you found like 72 out of 80. You got to hunt them down someday. Yeah, I wanted to do it during my playthrough, but I missed some. So. No, 72 out of 80, not 70 out of 100. No, not 7287. CC, what are you doing? I love the VODs for this because I'm arguing with CC and they just can't see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so remember we like, and by we I mean chicken, just cut off the top half of this thing. In fact, we can see in the background. Cut off the top. Sure. But it turns out that this tower was not just a tower. it was referred to. This is something that we did actually see when we were in there, just a word we saw. We didn't really know what it was. It's the word siphon. Sipho. There we go, siphon. Siphon. There's a little plaque explaining what it does, because apparently this is a museum. And inside we can see, like, this whole tower is just like a big thing. It's got lots of speakers that are doing things. And these speakers, it turns out, are siphons. And what they're doing... Sappho. What they're doing is they are essentially sapping Issa of whatever weird powers she has. They are siphoning her. Which is what happened earlier with the whole ghost thing. The speakers came down and it absorbed some of her weird time reality stuff and turned the corpse into a ghost. It's science. Don't argue it. Yeah, and so this tower is what's suppressing her powers. She mentioned before that when she was a kid she could just open up tears and go wherever the hell she wanted. And now she can just, like, find them and open them up a little bit. So she doesn't have the powers she used to, and that's because of this. This is the thing that's stopping her from having proper powers. But you believe speakers don't absorb sounds, they do quite the opposite. Science! Science, Jimmy. Anyway, Issa's like, well, first port of call, kill Father Jefferson. Second port of call, destroy this bloody thing. Issa's not happy about this. Right. So that's that. Siphon. There has another hand.
It's not science, it's dumb.
It's science! We've blinded you with science! Anywho. How am I gonna do this? This is very much an active scene. We arrive in Jefferson's chamber? It's weird. This chamber is like full of plants. We're still on the airship, by the way. It's just loads of like trees and plants and stuff around. It's just very sort of Garden of Eden-y. Trees, bushes and stuff. Oh, hey, King Vader. Makes it sound like we're entering a sex dungeon. I don't want to imagine that. If it's a sex dungeon, it's a bit weird. Because it's got like stained glass window. Massive stained glass window with I think a stained glass image of him on it. Which I'm not going to draw. Just imagine it's there. Because, yeah. I'm not made of time. And there's like metal gantryways and stuff because it's still an airship. Sounds like something he'd be into. He likes the sound of his own voice. We know that. Doug gets it, does he? And he's here. He is actually here. And he's very calm, very much in control, and he's like, ah! Issa! My, you've grown. This is the first time we've met Jeff Boy in the Jeff Boy in the flesh. We saw him standing on top of an airship very early on in the game, but I think this might be the first time we're actually close to him. But definitely the first time we're close to him. But this might be the only other time we actually see his like character model. Then Issa beats him to death at the golf club. The end. It's yeah, that's how it works. Just asks if you would kindly do it for. An old man with white hair. This is a relatively short scene, all things considered. But he's like, again, he's very restrained, very like, well, I say very restrained. Not really, actually. Now I think about it. It begins very convivial, very restrained. This is barely Jack's story. Honestly, I don't even know why he's still here. We'll get to that. Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, hi, hello, Issa. Oh, it's been so long. How have you been?" She's like, "You had people stab a metal spike into my spine. Not great." And he like sort of like, I don't know. I can't remember the exact like sequence of conversation, but like he sort of takes Issa's hand and starts like there's like a baptismal font in the middle of this room. Such a good moment, especially when you think back to everything and how it just plays and the players are doing is constructed. It's good. So wish I could play it without being told what it was. That would have been lovely. But hey, the internet, eh? Yeah, and he says like, I don't like this. Get off me, you weird old man. And he's like, everything I've done for you, you know. I've done to keep you safe. I've been a fool. I think he's like, I've been a fool. You got spoiled the day before you got to that part. Oh my god, that must have been so annoying. Not that excuse. I mean, to be fair, if you look at his plan from his point of view, he has done it all for her because he wants her to inherit the throne and drown and flame the mountains of man, and we've seen that that works. It's not good. It's not a good outcome. But that was his reasoning. He was right on it. I vehemently disagree that was a good idea. So yeah, he's like sort of takes her hand and sort of like washes it in the sort of baptismal thing, like with a sponge. I don't know why he has a sponge. Just sort of gently takes the hand and starts sort of talking about it. And she's like, why did you do this? She's trying to get answers. She's like, why? I need to understand this. I vehemently disagree that this was for Issa's sake. That's fair. He moves the stars for no one. I don't know. You two have a lovely time. And Issa drowned him. The end. I mean, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? So yeah, she's like, there's reasons and so on and so forth, and he's like, I've been a fool. I've been an absolute fool. I sent armies of people after you. Armies. They made a giant mechanical chicken. Just try and stop you escaping, to try and come after you and stop Jack from taking you, to stop the false shepherd from stealing you from your true calling. But I never needed to do any of that. All I needed, I could have just stopped you by asking you a single question. or whatever, something along those lines. Or just by mentioning a single thing, or whatever. It's very grandiose, sort of like, I could have. And then he turns to Issa and says, Issa. Put this on because I forgot. Why didn't you ask Jack what happened to your finger? So do you remember, Issa's missing a finger. It was mentioned very briefly before. Jack ate it. He was hungry, alright? Why are we allowing this man to talk? Good question. And it's at this point that basically Issa's sort of fed up with this and tries to pull away, and he's like, no, ask him about the finger, ask him about the bloody finger. And they get into a scuffle. Now the fun thing about this scuffle, which I'm not going to draw, is that they're just sort of like tugging on each other. And there's a prompt that you have to press to interrupt. Because obviously you have to have action in order to actually actively interrupt this. Because this was the era of press F to pay respects. So you have to have interaction. But the funny thing is that because it waits for your interaction, this scuffle can go on indefinitely. I think I went to get a drink. Because I thought it was funny. They're just sort of tugging on each other's arms in a looping animation. Which somewhat undercuts the experience. Press X to doubt. Anywho, eventually you press F or whatever it is. And you interject. And you grab hold of him, and Jack's shouting, and he's like, screw you! Oh man, you cut off her finger and you blame it on me, you bloody psychopath! What the hell are you talking about? It's at this point, how quickly can I draw this? Not quickly enough, it turns out. Anyway, it's at this point that Jack grabs Jefferson's head.
Bath time.
And just smashes it against the side of the font. Just cracking his skull. Just bang, bang, bang. While he's shouting, screaming. He's not happy about this. And I believe he shot him down. Bang, bang. He hit the ground. The one right thing Jack has done. And I believe his sort of like last words looking up. And I might be wrong about this, but it's a good false memory if it is. Is he sort of looks up and just says, "It is done, or it is finished." Or already, maybe it was already done or something like that. Anyway, there's lots of blood. And then he falls face first into the font. Dead. Hooray! He died. Jack was very angry. It has been done before in the future. It will have been did. It will have be did. After the future. The end, and Jack only eats 2 more of Issa's fingers. Anyway, Issa's like, what? That I didn't get any answers out of this. You killed him. It's like, yeah, we came here to do that. But she's like, what did he mean? What did he mean about the finger? And Jack is reasonably rightly, I don't know. You think I'd know? Think I wouldn't have mentioned it until this point? Why did you expect answers? The answer is because he's bad. But Issa looks at us and goes, no, you do know. You just can't remember. And Jack's like, what the hell does that mean? To which she points out that our nose is bleeding. He's standing on a box. How many boxes? Met you for the first time 5 days ago. No, I think this is the same day, right? Well, no, actually. I don't know how long transpired between losing her to Chicken and the operating theatre. Maybe it's a while. I don't know. Enough to have a spike put in your spine. So it's something we did in the future past of a different dimension which was different. We didn't do it. Slow down, everybody. Slow down. There's at least one more stream in this. Probably exactly one more stream, actually. Yeah. Were we responsible for something in a different dimension, Jack did? Hold on to your butts. So Jack's got a nosebleed. However, we've got a more pressing problem. Well, firstly, we need to get rid of the siphon. That's the next plan. And then take this ship off to Paris. We'll be happy as Larry. Whoever Larry is. Just want to see you suffer. This one actually isn't a he doesn't row. Although it is related to that, but not. That's not the answer. I'm not just saying that for no reason. It is. This is the thing. Right. Well, Jefferson's dead. So we get up to the bridge and we go, right, cool. Let's do this thing then. Let's fly this thing away. Get out of here. Why did that turn off? I don't know. So we're on like a ship, and I think there is like an old timey like ship wheel or something. And Jack's like, we gotta fly this thing to Paris because I'm done here. I'm done, quite frankly. I'm just gonna leave. And Lisa's like, no, we're taking out this siphon thing. I won't even bother drawing Jack. He just holds onto a wheel. He's there. He's got a nosebleed. He's finally being relatable. However, in the bow, well, there's a couple of issues, right? Couple of issues here and there. We're at like the top, or not the top. Well, yeah, the top. Do you remember that big landing I said that was at the top of the thing? That's going to be an arena. But we're in front of that, and we're looking out on top of that. And there's the big steering wheel. We're at the helm, let's say. And there are no issues. There are. You see, we're in a massive airship that is well known to be occupied by the Prophet. And we are in the middle of a revolution. So the Vox Populi, who are now heavily armed and have airships of their own, want to take this thing down. And apparently we can't tell them that he's dead. So leave on the baby ship, there was she. You'd think. Little paddle boat. So yeah, there's lots of like ships flying around here with the Vox on them. I love how the final boss of this game is the Vox Populi. Whatever. But yeah, this is the final boss. By the way, it's not really even a boss. Which I mean, I'll take. Final boss of Bioshock. It's weird. Speakers everywhere. Jefferson's been talking all game. Just say he's dead. Easy. Yeah, like they believe that. They are blinded by their revolutionary, etc. They're just as bad, Chibi. Were you not paying attention to the story? They're just as bad. They needed a final boss, I guess. But something else happens while we're in here. Jefferson from Beyond the Grave. There is no problem. Look, gameplay. The whole sequence leading up here, that would have been underwhelming. What do you mean Jefferson from Beyond the Grave? I mean, we've seen Jefferson... We haven't seen Jefferson in person many times throughout the game. However, we have been seeing statues of him around. In particular, statues with panpipes. Summon chicken, then fly to Paris. If chicken's coming, it's gonna want to stop you from leaving. Chicken's also a problem. And so chicken is being summoned. Chicken's coming. But it is at this moment, for whatever reason. What will we do about the other Jeffersons? Who's controlling chicken when Jefferson's dead? The chicken's just chicken. Chicken's not a robot. There's presumably someone in there or something in there. There's a consciousness. No one controls chicken. It just hears the song and it's like, oh, my friend is there. Let's take them back. And let's kill everything that's stopping me. It's an excitable big killing machine. Anyway. Back to where? Back to the tower. I mean, there's not a lot of it left, but it's still there, largely. There's enough for the siphon to still be working. Anyway. Chibi, you need to save your energy. We are nowhere near the end yet. I know I said this is the final boss, but we've got a lot to go. And you're going to be annoyed at a lot of it. So... Well, you're going to have a week to recuperate, I guess. Fly chicken to the tower, capture a new airship, fly to Paris. You're making far too much sense. This part's seriously so fun. Even when the game breaks. Yeah, this is the game-breaking bit. But here, Issa works something out. In a symbolic effort, Issa grabs a pipe or something. And smashes the... statue with it, because she realizes what the notes were about. You know, this pipe, this is the thing that's obviously summoning the Boyd, summoning chicken. How do you smack like that? Something like that. That's not how smack. This is Issa hasn't smacked anything before, apart from us in the face with a wrench. But she's like, I understand the note. I understand the note that future me wrote me. We know the instrument. We know how it works. But now I understand what my note was about. It's not the cage. The cage on the note. Do you not understand? Chibi, do you understand? Quiz time. Do you understand what the cage means? No. I love this bit because it's completely superfluous. This did not need to be in the story. This is a very Stephen Moffat bit, but I like it. They just wanted yet another reveal. And it fits in with the symbology of birds and cages and such. Anyway, she's like, cage! It's not a picture. It's an instruction. C-A-G-E. It's musical notes. That's what you play on the thing to get chicken. And so she grabs the thing, she smashes it off the thing and plays C-A-G-E. C-A-G-E, C-A-G-E. And then chicken comes around. The chicken was already coming because the thing was going off. And then chicken smashes through the front of the thing, as is chickens want. The thing I like about this, as I mentioned a while ago, that the tune that this thing plays, the statue plays, isn't C-A-G. I whistled it in a stream, and I whistled it specifically because it's not C-A-G. Just so I could point back and go, oh. What do you mean? She stops the notes the statue was playing ready to play the same tune? I guess it's like a tune that does something else, like reprograms it to like say, oh, this is a friend or something. Basically, why would she want to summon the chicken? Because the chicken is here. Chicken's already here. And it's like, hi, how you doing? I am chicken. Chicken has arrived. And Chicken's like, oh, what's going on here? Friend, you're here. Let's go back to the tower. And she plays the thing. And it's like, no, I will listen to you now. I will listen to what you have to say. You know what you're talking about now. You have the music. And basically, for the purposes of this fight, where you are fighting literally airships full of enemies, you can command Chicken to just attack airships as you go. And like slam on the floor and destroy things. Basically, Chicken's your friend now. Chicken is friend. They were always friend, but they were slightly misguided friend. Now they have been properly guided. Oh yeah. Rain. Chicken is friend, then why are we still on the airship? Just go. Do you know what? That is a wonderful question. I don't have an answer for that one. Because that's not how the story goes. That's the answer. They're going to go sing together forever in Paris. Yeah, little cutie pie. It's like, oh, hello. I'm a friend now. Great, thanks. There's not a lot I can do in the face of plot holes. That's we're doing Bioshock Infinite for a reason. That is because this game is not the most consistent. This game was not thought through in many ways. Does it look like Chicken's giving Issa a little smooch? I think it like rubs its head up against like a bird. But it's huge. Like I need to stress, I can't obviously do this with drawings, or at least I'm not good enough to. It moves like a bird. Like it does all those little head twitches and looks to the side because its eyes are on the side of the head. Chris, that's not how the story goes. You resist the urge to type the lyrics from a series of unfortunate events. I don't know that. Well, I know what that is, but I don't know specifically to what you're referring. And never resist the urge. It's never stopped anyone else before. But yeah, little smooch. But yeah, it moves like a bird, which is probably the most unsettling thing because it moves like a bird and is massive. And birds move very twitchily. It's very well animated. Again, a lot of good effort was put into this game. It's just not a lot of it went into the writing. Or maybe too much effort went into the writing. So if we don't do the very logical thing of escaping on New Friend Chicken, then what do our dumb characters decide to do? Well, we have a big onslaught of fighting lots and lots of things that we can call Chicken to destroy airships, assuming the game isn't bugged out and Kira is stuck there without Chicken doing anything. But yeah, we can do that, and we fight off the Vox, and we do that. That's whatever. Final boss. I don't care about gameplay. We're here for story. So what we actually do by the end, once this has happened, for the purposes of this draw-through, you can forget that the Vox were there at all. But for the purposes of gameplay, it's probably handy. Anyway, we go to the bow. Is it bow? The front of the ship. And I'm not going to draw a railing or anything. And Issa, we look over the side and we see off in the distance in the clouds, we see the remains of the tower that Issa was in. It's still largely broken and such, but this is what's got the siphon in, and that's what this is the thing that is stopping her powers from being fully realized. Bow is the front, thank you. That's just in the clouds somewhere. No, it's cloudy. That's how you do that, right? Yeah, and Issa says, I think she says, "You sure you want to do this?" Just so you can have a prompt. Press F to end game. The gameplay is over by now. Just want to point that out. You still control your character for the rest of the game, but it is essentially an elongated cutscene for the rest of it, and it's gonna take some explaining. What was Jefferson doing with Issa's power exactly? Just sucking it up. Suppressing it, essentially. Like I say, when she was a kid, she could just open up tears at will and make her own portals to her own dimensions and so on and so forth. But recently she's only really been able to just find them and open them when they're there. Okay, but why? Because you want to be able to control this person? If they can go anywhere and do anything, why would they drown and flame the mountains of Man? You need to control this person. Do you think Lord Jefferson's gonna give up control of this sort of power? No. What do you want to use the power for? I don't think they use it for anything. They're just absorbing it. Or suppressing it, or whatever. Maybe they are using it for something, I don't know. Maybe they're using it to help elevate the city, I don't know. What's the entire point of having a person with that power around? We'll get to that. That is one I can answer. Not today. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, next week. Again, there's only one more stream in this. During which some of your questions will be answered, but probably not as many as you'd. Chibi's gonna take my kneecap. Chibi long ago, like Chibi has built like a trophy cabinet specifically for my kneecaps. What is this? What's this? We'll get to it. See? I'm backed up by Kira. Could do it tomorrow to make Tube not make Tube suffer. But no, Tube will have relaxing recovery times with Chibi Nether's Day. I have a trophy cabinet for all of my bones. Yay! I am a trophy. Hey, Issa, you still don't look like yourself. Issa's like, you want to do this? I don't know what's going to happen if we destroy this thing. And Jack's like, what else are we going to do? I should specify when I say things like that. That's not true. They should be like that. They should say that. You'll take 1 bone for each question you leave unanswered. That's not up to me. I'm not having my bones stolen because Ken Levine is a bad writer, right? Unfortunately, many of your questions can be answered by he doesn't row. And that's not my fault. But yeah, we're like, let's do this. And then he plays Banquet. Do 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 do. Very dignified. This is important. If you take 1 bone for each time you say he doesn't row in the next stream. I don't think I have to set it at all next stream. It's not said again in the game. Completely have to have any bone to take. Well, okay, if you don't want the explanation, that's fine. I didn't expect this to be the entertaining part of these streams. So yeah, he plays My Heart Will Go On panpipes, and look at that, this is a frog. This is a ribbit potato. Good fork. Ooh. And a snake turnip. Yeah, and so he does the thing. I don't work out what to do. How to draw this. Oh, that probably actually let's make it a bit flatter. Like that. Front of the ship. Noodle. And so he calls the thing, and then Chicken comes in. It's like, oh, this is my job now. Hooray! But yeah, let's go.
Near, far, wherever you are.
Near, far, wherever you are. Turned it into like a 90s rap. It's MC Hammer. Can you imagine if MC Hammer did the soundtrack to Titanic? That's an alternate universe I'd like to go to. But yeah, Chicken's like, I've got this, guys. I know what I'm doing. And he goes, this unfortunately doesn't want to update, so it's like that. At which point, this just explodes. Just like into so many pieces.
I believe that the heart does go on.
And like this huge blue shockwave just sort of echoes throughout the clouds and sky and such. At which point, it echoes to Issa, who's now like, I am powerful. So like, I can see, I understand now. So she can understand, why can't you? It's fine. And she's just like pulsating with energy and just glowing sort of bright blue. Like she's having a trance from Final Fantasy IX. Is Issa the villain now? Interesting question. I'd say no. Remember, Jack isn't afraid of God, but he is afraid of her. Because you're not an all-powerful being that can open tears to new dimensions. That's fine. That's fair. However, the pulsating energy also explodes the panpipes. Just realised I should probably make a copy of this. That's destroyed now. That's just gone. Oh no, plot convenience. We cannot control Chickum now. Oh no. This also explodes. Jack's just standing there like a melon, holding nothing. Look at these two. Get a new pan flute, easy. Easier said than done. When Chicken's like, oh, you're not my friend anymore. I'm gonna come back and capture you. Ah! We had control, but now we don't. And Jack's like, Issa, we got a problem. Issa? And Issa's like, ooh, I'm all glowy now. Whoops. Jacob just wants a hug. Yeah, so he sort of flies directly at us on the ship. Like, Jack's just shouting like, Issa! This is not good! And Issa's like, this isn't a problem. And Jack is, it's a bit of a problem! Did the music stop again? Are we already going round? Basically. Let's keep... Take you to Paris! It's just gonna go to Paris. No, it's coming to attack you. Chicken is on screech mode. Screech mode activated. Lots of screechings happening right now. Big old metallic screeches in the sky. He's like, I'm coming to get you! And that's the face that you pull. When Chicken comes to get you. So, Chibi, what do you think happens next? Some more BS? Maybe. It's not a terrible guess. Anyway, Issa's pulsating with energy. She is no longer contained by the siphon. She has a full array of powers back. Bring Paris to us? Close, not quite. because Chicken is just racing towards us, screeching through the sky, and Jack's like, oh my god, Issa, do something, please help. And so Issa's like, no problem. She's very calm, very nonchalant. And then she just waves a hand, and we're somewhere else. And now there is a pane of glass between us and Chicken. And on the other side of that pane of glass is a whole load of water. We're in a new world again. Slick. Yeah. I prepared this just before the stream. She's also glowing. Yeah, she's glowing. It's all just going over. It's fine. Ocean Columbia. So now this is where knowing what Bioshock 1 is kind of important. Because we're now in Bioshock 1. Alternate universe. Bioshock Infinite was a city in the sky. We go to a lighthouse and we go up into the sky to a city. Bioshock 1, we go to a lighthouse and go down. Under the water. City in the ocean. Rapture. So yeah, we're welcome to Rapture. And now, Chicken is not dealing with the pressure very well. And Chicken, yeah, and Issa just sort of walks up to the poor Boyd, and sort of puts her hand on the glass and says, "Shh, quiet, it's over now." And Chicken's like, "Oh, friend, hello." And the eyes turn green. It's like, "Oh, friend, hi, how you doing?" Oh God, the pressure. This is not good. And then the eyes start to crack. It's like, "Oh no, my friend." And he puts his hand up on the thing, and Issa puts the hand up next to it, and she's like, "Shh, you can sleep now." And then it drowns. Bye bye, beast friend. Yeah. Best friend, not beast friend. Also beast friend. Yeah, and I knew I wouldn't be able to do this bit justice, but this did actually make me tear up a little bit. It's very sad, the way it's done. Yeah, it just drowns, and then behind it, it reveals... Stupid game, yeah. Because you do get attached over that sequence where it's like, yeah, Chicken's a friend now. And like the mannerisms, it's just an animal that's like, oh. So yeah. And we've now arrived in new universe. Universe number 4. Or 1, technically, because it's the first game. We're in Rapture. It's sad about Chicken, but also... like, there was no way I was going to do that justice. But I wanted to, you know... I was pleased with the transition. That went nicely. I even gave it like, a little fuzzy edge. Clipping masks, they're powerful. Hang on, I can make a little... So yeah, we have left Columbia and we are now in Rapture. Also in the future, I guess. If you're going to steal Big Daddy tech, don't half-ass it. It's a different set of circumstances. You need to deal with low pressure up in the sky and very high pressure down in the ocean. So different use, you know. Yeah. So Chicken's dead. Has drowned. Did she just teleported us towards the panpipe? Maybe. But there are more pressing matters right now. Because Issa now knows what's happened. She now understands. And she's going to spend the next 2 hours explaining it to us. And for that, we're going to have to wait till next time. Dimension shifted to a dimension where the panpipe survived. No. There's more pressing matters than a panpipe. There's a much bigger deal going on now. But we'll work that out next time. Oh, I'm pleased I actually sat down for 10 minutes to make that. That's quite good. Mr. Bubbles! When in Rapture is this? I'm pretty sure this is a straight up remodel of the opening area of Bioshock 1. So I think this is post things going wrong. Don't know. So there's still like stuff everywhere and like barricades and whatever. You know, at least in Bioshock Infinite, it takes a while after you've gotten there for things to start going wrong. Bioshock 1, already ruined. Already in disarray. It's very slick. I like doing things like that. Like on the last one with the sudden, the Boy of Silence. Always boy. Doesn't seem like a better place to be. There's also nobody around. Remember, the version of Rapture that we're in Bioshock 1 doesn't have to be this version. All you've got to do is go to a universe where nobody's in this room. He doesn't roam. You hate this suddenly. Well, you're gonna love the next stream. Because this is where all the wibbly wobbly timey-wimey nonsense starts happening. Longbone. Oh no! You said that's how many times I say that next stream, not this stream. Right, yeah. Cool. We are conclusively post-gameplay now. Time is never and always. Was never. And has been always. So it already started this stream. Now! Something from an early stream you really want to mention again? Ooh. Not entirely sure what you... because you didn't realise it till much later. Next time. There will be many opportunities in the next stream to talk about things earlier in the game, because this game is very good at seeding ideas that later on you go, oh, that makes sense now. But also very good at seeding ideas that never make sense. So glad you're counting the one, yeah. Wibbly wobbly timey wimey. How many times have I said it over the course of the Drawthrough? Will Chibi go back and check? I wouldn't put it past him. Yeah, thank you for coming along. I will be back. Well, we will be back on Saturday with Kieran again. They're in the intro and here. Yeah, so we will be back on Saturday with some more Wildermyth. I definitely remember what's been happening. Not Overcooked. Not Overcooked, please. It's Wildermyth. It's Wildermyth. Wildermyth. Your husband brings you car. There's such a massive cop out and such a Trier fan service. So this is where I feel there is. I will argue there is one slight connection next time. Why did she not just open a portal for chicken if she's all powerful now? There are reasons. There is a thematic reason which we will get to next stream as to why we go back to Rapture. Whether it's a good reason is a different matter, but there is one. And it ties to something that has been following us through the entire draw. Bad story 0 out of 10. This is another reason why I think this game should not have been called Bioshock Infinite. It should have been called Reality Shock. Because imagine, like, spiritual successor to Bioshock, you come in with no expectations of it being a Bioshock game, and then right at the end, boom, what's this? The fact that it's called Bioshock, you're like, oh, okay, they're pulling this. It's like the ending of Bioshock all over again. The endings of these games are just... I don't think they're comparable, but they both fall on their face in different ways. And we will get to that. Let's not talk, we've got a week. Come on, we've got a week. Before then, we're going to be playing Wildermyth. And we've got to work out what happens to True and all of the others. And then Twitch died for you. Oh, great. That's alright, in another timeline it didn't. Wildermyth. But before then, presumably, there is a Chibi Nether's Day where we can hear Chibi being very angry at me. Or at the very least trying to calm down. Trying to find ways of being calm. You definitely remember why. Fantastic. Good. Lovely. So yeah, Chippy Nether's Day, Thursday. Saturday is Wilmouth. Chippy Nether's Day. More War Tales, new update War Tale. Well, actually, has that come out yet? Or have they just announced it? More Apple Friends. Yeah, and then Wildermyth Saturday. Sunday will be whatever we do on Sundays. Apple Friends. We'll do some stuff on Sundays, and then Tuesday back to Hitman. Just no idea what's going on with that game. You have, and ponies gain experience now. Yeah. You can actually use the ponies. You have swamps. So Shrek and Donkey are on the table. It's a good time. Yeah. So Saturday Wildermyth, Sunday Doodle Times, Tuesday Hitman, Wednesday last stream of this. Now that we are in Rapture. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed. Hope this was a good time. I'm very pleased I managed to end it roughly at the right time for for the reveal. I thought, am I going to need this stream? Am I going to need it? Yeah, I better make it just in case. Next Wednesday, come watch Chibi take all of my bones. Again, the reason I did this draw-through was to talk about the poorly handled racial aspect. But because that hasn't aged well. But hey, now we're in the fun stuff. Now we're in the stuff that would make Oobs angry. Yeah. This is just my kind of nonsense, but whatever. Yeah. Thanks for coming along. Hope you had a good time. Yeah. A compilation of every time you've screamed this draw-through. Yeah, I don't really do draw-through compilations because it's just mostly me waffling and it's very difficult to edit that. But I feel like I could probably do a simple everybody screaming at things draw-through compilation. As cool as War Ponies are, they have too many buffs to be better pack animals. No. Oh. Whatever. Yeah. I'll be back soon. But until then, have a lovely week. Look after yourselves. Have a great time. Yeah. I'll see you around. Goodbye. Thank you for coming. Bye. Bye.